Hey everyone, welcome back to our Plankton plugin tutorial series. I'm Movahead, and in today's video, we're going to explore one of the exciting features of Plankton, displaying ads in your game. And the best part is, it's incredibly easy and can be done with just a few lines of code. By the end of this video, you'll be able to effortlessly show ads in your game, which will lead to monetization and revenue generation. So, let's dive right in and get those ads rolling. Before we begin, make sure you've completed the initial setup process. If you haven't already, head over to our Getting Started video for a quick walkthrough. Also, make sure your Unity project's target API level is set to 33 or higher, and the minimum API level is 21 or higher. You can easily adjust these settings in Unity under Player Settings, Other Settings, and locate these two fields. As an example, I set mine to 24 and 34 respectively. Plankton integrates seamlessly with two major ad mediation networks, AdMob and AppLovin MAX. If you're new to these platforms and need help setting up accounts, follow the links in this part of the docs. But if you already have accounts set up and ad unit IDs defined, you're good to go. Alright, let's dive into implementing AdMob in Plankton. The process is identical for AppLovin MAX, so if you're planning to use that later, no worries. Head over to Unity and let's configure the settings. Open your Edit menu and navigate to Project Settings. Within the Plankton tab, you'll see an option for AdMob. Go ahead and enable it. Now, to connect your AdMob account, simply fill in the text field with your AdMob app ID. You can find your app ID in the AdMob dashboard. Below, you'll see various ad networks you can enable for AdMob mediation. Just remember, to use these additional networks, they need to be activated in your AdMob account first. After making your changes, click the Apply Changes button and then hit Generate Plugins. Alright, now let's jump into the code. First of all, you have to initialize the ads feature by calling the initialize method and passing your unit IDs. To keep things organized, create a new folder, for example Plankton Manager, to work with Plankton methods. Now, let's create a new C# script specifically for handling Plankton ads. I named it Ads Manager. To make sure Plankton is properly referenced in the Ads Manager class, add this using statement at the top. Then clear everything inside the class and define a new static method called onInitialize. We want this onInitialize method to run automatically when our game starts. To achieve this, we'll use an attribute called runtimeInitializeOnLoad method before the declaration of the method and pass the load type of beforeSceneLoad. You can put this method anywhere else and call it manually, but be aware that it is best to be called at the startup of the game. Alright, within the onInitialize method, let's tell Plankton which mediation network we're using. In this case, it's AdMob. Next, we need to provide our AdMob unit IDs. For this tutorial, we'll be using AdMob's test unit IDs. Keep in mind that you can leave the unit ID field empty for any ad formats you don't want to use in your game. You're also able to declare specific providers for each ad type. This means that you can display different types of ads from different mediation networks. Lastly, call add.initialize method and pass the provider and unit IDs in the order I passed. From now on, Plankton will take care of the rest, quietly preparing ads in the background for you to show later. Okay, let's jump into the first ad format, banner ads. These are the familiar rectangular ads that appear at the bottom of your screen. By toggling the value of the add.banner field, you can simply show and hide the banner ad. Within your Ads Manager script, create a new public method called showBanner. This function will set the add.banner field to true. To hide the banner later, you can change the value to false. The player's start of the game would be a good time to use this method. Open the Game Manager folder under the Scripts folder. Within the GameManager.cs, at the end of the unenabled method, call adsManager.showBanner. Now let's build and run the project and see it in action. Okay, so the game is now launched, and when I start the game, the test banner ad is displayed on the bottom of the screen. Next up, let's explore interstitial ads, those full screen ads that appear between gameplay moments. In your Ads Manager script, create a new method called showInterstitial, which takes two arguments. The first one is placement. Think of it as a short label for where or why you are showing the ad. The second argument is onAdClosed, an action which will be executed after the ad is closed. So create an ad.place object and pass the placement and type of the ad to it. Next, call the ad.showInterstitial and pass adPlaced and onAdClosed parameters. Now that you can show interstitial ads, let's think about where to place them strategically. A common spot is when the player enters the game over state. This can be a natural pause in the action. Navigate to your game over state script and find the unenabled method. Here's a great place to show interstitial ads. For example, let's call showInterstitial with gameOver as the placement and a simple callback function that logs a message to the console when the ad closes. Let's build and run the project to see the changes. Okay, let's play and try to lose as soon as possible. Now, when I click the Game Over button, the interstitial ad is displayed immediately. You nailed it! Now, let's explore rewarded ads. Their implementation is almost similar to interstitials. In your Ads Manager script, create a new method called showRewarded with the same arguments as showInterstitial. But the difference is that the onAdClosed callback takes an extra argument, a boolean value that tells you whether the player watched the entire ad and earned the reward or closed it early. The rest of the implementation is similar to interstitials, and you should call add.showRewarded method from Plankton. A common spot for showing rewarded ads is within the shop in exchange for in-game items. Open the UI folder, then Shop folder. Open the shop item list file and scroll all the way down to the end. In the Buy method, call adsManager.showRewarded. As the placement, I pass shop item list. Then write the callback with the boolean input named success. If success is true, it means that the player watched the entire ad and deserves a reward. So you should grant the player their reward by calling these two methods. If the success is false, you should print a message to the console for debugging purposes, or create a user-friendly in-game dialog to let them know they didn't earn the reward. Finally, after the if-else block, call the refresh method. Let's build the game and see the results. Okay, so let's open the store and click the first Watch Ad button. Awesome! You've successfully integrated rewarded ads into your shop. And when I close the ad, I earn a new magnet as a reward. Alright, We covered all of the ad types. But before you show an ad, it's a good practice to check if it's actually ready to display. Plankton provides an isLoaded method for both interstitial and rewarded ads. This lets you verify if an ad is available before attempting to show it. To show an example of its use case, we define a new method in the Ads Manager script called isRewardedAdLoaded. In your Watch Ad button implementation, add an if statement that checks if the ad is loaded using adsmanager.isLoaded with the rewarded ad type. If the ad isn't loaded yet, you can display a user-friendly message to the player, letting them know that the ad isn't available right now. And finally, for additional testing and debugging, you can leverage AdMob's Ad Inspector and AppLovin's Mediation Debugger. Plankton provides a method for each one.
And there you have it. You have just learned how to display different types of ads in your game and start generating revenue. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tutorials. In the next videos, we'll explore more amazing features of Plankton to take your game to the next level. If you have any questions or need further assistance, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and happy coding!